So I recently visited Jamaica and I came back with some ground provision. Found me a nice piece of renta yam. My goodness, it's been a while. And I'm telling you, and I also ran into a piece of yellow yam. I'm going to make a dish with
Ground
this.
provisions is the term used in West Indian nations to describe a number of root vegetables such as yams, sweet potatoes, dasheen root, edos, and cassava.
Wagwan, beautiful people.
What's up, guys?
Welcome once again to another episode of Cooking with Nino. Now, today I'm going to be preparing for you another Jamaican favorite. It's called brown stew chicken. But instead of serving this with rice, I'm going to be using ground provision. So stick with me and follow me through this process as we get this dish prepared. So to get this chicken started, or to get this dish started, we want to use a whole chicken. We want to ensure that we get all the various parts of the chicken. It's a great idea to have a variety. So we're going to be cutting up our chicken and deconstruct it. This is going to be the professional way of doing things. So you're going to be doing things just like a professional chef. It's important to cut it up into various pieces. Now, I do have a video that is there walking you through the process of deconstructing a chicken. You got to take it apart limb by limb. Right here, we're just removing all the thighs. So be sure to keep your work area clean. And don't forget to use those bleach wipes and make sure your boards are properly cleaned and sanitized. So you know what we do with chicken after we cut it up, get it all ready? We gotta wash our chicken. So we're either gonna use vinegar or lemon or lime. In this case, we're gonna be using some vinegar. Okay, we're gonna get some cold water on top of that. And we're gonna be doing that a couple of times. Okay, some water.
And for all of those that say, oh, you're contaminating the sink, don't worry. We're going to decontaminate that sink right quick.
So I'm just going to add roughly about a tablespoon, or a teaspoon rather, of salt. Just a regular table salt. All right, I've got some garlic powder here. A little sprinkle of garlic. Oh, that's an awful lot there, eh? But we love the garlic. And of course, we got some Sister Maggie. Gonna put some Sister Maggie on that. And last but certainly not least, I've got my browning. Put a little bit of that on there. And now you gotta be careful with this because you don't want to make it too dark. All right, so get that on there, and then we can get our hands in there.
You forgot your black pepper?
Oh, we're gonna put the black pepper. Don't you worry. I did forget, but that's why I have an assistant here, so she can remind me when I forget things. All right, I think I might need to add a little bit more browning to that. Look at that. And just get my hands in there. So the unique thing about this is there's some people that rather than using the browning, they opt to use sugar. So what they would do is they would put a little bit of sugar in the oil on the burner on medium heat, and they would caramelize the sugar. Okay, that will create the same concept here, but I've just chosen to use my caramelization before and not use sugar. All right, so that there's another option to this. I think I might put a little bit more. Just want to get it a little browner than that. And that should be fine. That's perfect. We'll get a nice brown color on them. That's good. So now that I've got my chicken all seasoned up, all set to go, I'm going to be putting this in the refrigerator. Just sit there for a short while, and I'm going to go on and move on to the next, the preparation of the next part of the dish.
So what knife are you using there?
Well, right here, I'm using my chef knife, and I'm just slicing this cabbage, so we get a nice thin slice here. Now this knife edge is very sharp, like razor sharp. So one has to be very careful with this. Just gonna remove this so I can get some more room. Now this is not something that you rush. You gotta take your time and ensure that you get nice thin slices. You get a nice shred from the cabbage. All the different layers be nicely shredded. And as you can see, it comes out very thin and it will steam a lot easier. Oh, got a little bit of edge holding on here. I've got my cabbage all shredded up. I've got an onion. I'm going to be cutting the onion about the same shreddedness just to ensure that, okay, we've got to get it nice and thin. This way everything just gets dissolves, incorporate itself within the cabbage, and you won't know the difference between onion and cabbage. It's all going to be the same. And I'm going to do the same with various other vegetables. The carrots as well as the bell peppers. And in the meantime, in doing so, I've also got my water that is on the burn. I've got my water here all set for my provision. I'm just going to put a bit of salt in the water. And I'm going to also put a tiny bit of oil. It's just regular vegetable oil. Just going to put just a wee bit in here. And this will help ensure that Well, as you can see, we've got a bunch of julienne peppers. We've got an orange, red, and green pepper. We just julienne the peppers. Try to get them all pretty much the same size. This way everything will be cooked evenly. And then we're going to get our garlic. We'll just give them a pound. Just turn your knife sideways. Give them a pound just to flatten them out. And then you just chop away. Ensure you chop it as fine as you like. You know, just a bit of a rough slice or a rough cut. All right, once your garlic's all done, it's time to move on to your Scotch bonnet pepper. You just slice up your Scotch bonnet pepper. Just give it a chop. Do remember when you're doing peppers, all the heat's in the seed. And then you're going to move on and get your thyme, your rubber thyme, your fresh thyme rather, and just remove all the leaves from the thyme. This way we have all the ingredients all together. Then we're going to move all the ingredients from the pan into the Dutch pot. And it's time to get ready to steam. No need to add any water or anything. It's going to create its own condensation. And it'll create the moisture and just start steaming. Okay, once you have all your vegetables in your Dutch pot, everything fits perfectly fine. It's time to start adding some seasoning. Nice little sprinkle of Sister Maggie. Gonna add a really nice fragrant flavor. And we're gonna sprinkle a little black pepper to taste. You know, you're talking maybe about a teaspoon. And some table salt. Just roughly about a half a teaspoon of table salt. You don't want to put too much in there. You want to allow it to just get together and steam. And then you're going to be adding some butter or margarine, depending on what you've got. Just give a couple dollops. And then just cover your pan. Put it on the burner. And then away you go. It's time to prepare your dumplings. Now, if you haven't made dumplings before, just remember, it's just all you need is just some all-purpose flour. Okay, you want to add a little bit of table salt to it, depending on how much flour you've got. And you want to just give it a little kneading action. If you need, you can either roll it into a roll and slice it, or you can create little cartwheels like I'm doing. And it's all a matter of preference. And you want to get to your green banana. All you do is you take your green banana, you cut off each ends of the stem and just put a little line down the back of it. And what that's going to do is it's going to allow the skin to remove itself or to separate itself from the actual banana. This way, once it's all boiled and ready to go, it's easy just to remove the skin. So you just take it one by one, just cut off both ends, give it a little score down the back, and drop it into your boiling water. So just before you get your chicken going, don't forget to add a little salt in the water for your dumplings and your provisions, as well as just a touch of vegetable oil. So you want to just put your Dutch pot on the burner, get it turned on to high heat, and then just put a little oil, a little vegetable oil or canola oil. Get the oil nice and hot, and then just drop your chicken parts all seasoned in the Dutch pot, and just allow it to just brown away. Get a nice little cooking action going on. Once it's all brown, just cover it and just allow it to cook. Now that we've got the water going with the banana, it's time to peel our provision. A renta yam. Oh, that is such a beautiful looking piece of yam. Just remove the outer texture and sure to remove any little black speck that's on there, that's a part of the skin, and just slice them in half. This way we'll get a little piece for everyone, because this is going to have to go a long way. Everyone's going to want a taste of this. Once you get it all cut up, just drop it in some cold water, and that will remove any little residue that's on it.
What's this for?
This is for the chicken. Then you want to get all your tomatoes cut up. We're going to get our tomato sliced. We're going to be dropping all the tomatoes and all the remaining onions that we've got sliced We're going to put that in the pot with the stewed chicken. It's all part of the cooking process. It's just going to add nothing but flavor. Now we've got some, roughly a small little handful of pimento seeds or allspice. Pretty much the same thing. One is just a little ground, the other one is solid. And we just drop that into our pan and just get it all stirred up. Now all the flavors are in that pot all together, all getting to know each other. And one of the things that I do as well is I cut up maybe one potato and just put in there. Now the potato itself is going to end up dissolving, and it's going to add to the thickness of the gravy that's going to be made. Give it a lot of body. And as you can see, the pot with the provisions and the dumplings and the banana is just boiling away. Now that all in itself takes roughly about 30 minutes of boiling in order for everything to be fully cooked all the way through. There's quite a collection of items in that pot, and it's all provisions. Now look at that. There's a stewed chicken. We're just adding the remaining ingredients. And we can't forget our ketchup. Now you got to put a little sprinkle of ketchup on there, and that's going to really just create that sauce, that real Jamaican flavored stewed chicken sauce. And then we're going to get a little liquid. Now it's a liquid Sister Maggie. It's concentrate. It is a Maggie seasoning, but it just adds additional flavor. A little bit of soy sauce. Again, you get a little bit of saltness out of it, but it's just going to, again, we're just building flavor on top of flavor. That's going to make up our dish. Once we get that going, we just add a tiny bit of water because we want the water just to be there to create a nice, thick, luscious looking and tasteful gravy.
Cover it.
And once we get the party started, we just cover it up and watch them do the cha-cha. It's quite an orchestrated dance to watch this stewed chicken being prepared.
Can I see the cabbage?
So we got our steamed cabbage going on, we got our provision, and we've got our stewed chicken. All cooking in unison. Now, as you see, the provisions are all ready. As I mentioned earlier, just use a pair of tongs and just grab onto the banana peel and just remove them from the banana. It's quite a dance that's going on with preparing all three dishes. Then it's time to start plating. Okay guys, so now we have our dish all completed. We've got our brown stewed chicken along with our provision. All right, now it's time for a taste test. So right here you can see we've got our renta yam here. That's our renta, that's our yellow yam, our green banana, and our dumpling. And of course, the star of the show, the brown stewed chicken. So
Don't
here we
forget
go.
the cabbage.
Oh yeah, how dare we forget the cabbage. There it is right there. All right, so here we go. Gonna dig in. A piece of the yellow yam. Now that is delicious. That's an absolutely scrumptious meal. Love it. So don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. And let me know how yours turn out. And we will see you on the next episode. Goodbye.